Hey, what's up, guys? Episode 322 of Richard Metal Fan Interviews, calling from Zoom. And after almost 3 years, I return with Greg from Allegaeon. How are you doing today, Greg? It is so great to be able to talk with you again.
Good man. How you been?
Not too bad, not too bad. It feels like it was only yesterday since we last spoke at the Omnium Gathering tour.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was crazy. It's been 3 years.
that was a balmy day
Yeah,
in
at the I
Atlanta.
remember I remember even at like getting there, like Atlanta traffic was so bad. And I even said in the video, like, Atlanta, get your shit together.
Oh, that's right. I do. It's coming back to me.
Nice. But it is so great to be able to talk with you again. So last time we spoke, we got the damn them, but now we have the new album, the Ossury Lens, which comes out in April. So do you want to talk to me about the whole writing and recording process and how that whole thing came to be and that good stuff?
I mean, it's been pretty much consistent through our career. Demos are done with by ourselves, and then we meet up, and then everything's kind of you know dissected and gone through and made better, and arrangements are tied up, but Um, yeah, that's pretty streamlined for us at this point.
Nice. And musically, did you want to continue after Damn Them, or did you want to try something new or different that Elysian hasn't done before?
I mean, not really. It's not really on either of those. For me, it was more important to Damn Them was so kind of caught up in the you know post-pandemic you know world. We had it was Damnum was Latin for loss, and so that album was really just like a state of the band mourning. you know so when we went through this is kind of like a return to normality a little bit. That's probably the best way to say it.
Yeah, nice. And what would you say like the overall message and theme is behind the Ossuary Lens?
I mean, there's not really a theme. Something that ties everything back together, right? Is very similar to Damnum in that Damnum was about death and the mourning of of us dealing with that death, whereas Ossuary Lens is really just kind of like an outward look at death, kind of like a third party looking at those, and just every single song seems to tie in with that. So, it seemed an appropriate title.
Yeah, and this is also the first album in over a decade to feature Ezra back in the band. So, how is it like having him back?
Oh, it's been great, man. It's been great. It's like it feels like old times, you
Yeah,
know.
and how'd he end up rejoining Elysian?
Um, we were doing, we had a little side project going, before Riley left, and then, you know, when I was told that Riley had quit, uh, Boo Boo called me and told me, and we already had a tour planned, to go to Europe. And I was like, okay, well, I'll just, I'll just call Ez because we'd already been talking, and I was like, hey man, you want to go to Europe? He's like, yeah. I'm like, cool. So it like literally was. I found out that Riley had quit, and then Ezra was doing the next Allegiant thing within 15 minutes. And it was like really just like, really, really quick. Um, whether we didn't really think that Ezra, I was kind of on team Ezra, like, man, yeah, just come back and take your, place. But we had a whole bunch of, Boo Boo and Jeff had never really been in a band with Ezra. So,
Yeah.
like, it was a little bit of like trying him out when we were in Europe. And then they saw like his personality and his stage presence, and they're like, oh, okay, we get it. We see how he interacts and works the crowd and
Yeah.
why, because he played a big part in a Legion becoming what we become back in the
Yeah.
day. So
Yeah, he
getting
pretty
that.
much led me into my next question, like what was like Boo Boo and Jeff's like first impression of Ezra?
Uh, I don't even remember. I know Boo Boo. Boo Boo just had a baby, so he wasn't even on that tour. So we were just getting little. We were just sending him little updates and little love notes, from the road because it was the first time we had been out without it. It was the only time we've ever done a tour without a bass player. So he had to back and track all his stuff because his wife was due to go into labor like
Oh
pretty
shit,
much
that's
any
crazy.
time in the tour. So uh, it was we were like, yeah, you're probably gonna need to sit this one out. So
Yeah, that's totally understandable.
yeah.
Yeah, but of course, like I heard the new album in advance, it is absolutely kick-ass. And I know prior to the Ossury Lens, you had like the singles Inhumation and Iridescent, which are also kick-ass songs. But quick question, how come they're not a part of the album? Because I think those songs are just equally as good to be on the album.
We recorded that little EP just to kind of like not make people wait. When we wanted to announce Ez, we're like, you know what? We don't want to just announce Ez is back permanently and not give people something. So it was like, let's record a little EP, which we ended up just separating and putting, two singles out, just to kind of spread it around. And then, but that it was really just like trying to give something to the fans while they waited for us to finish the full length. And then, we tend to have long albums, so there was no really point in making them longer. We kind of been criticized in the past for our albums being too long, so we try to keep it under an hour this time, which we barely succeeded.
Yeah, cough, cough, Dream Theater. But yeah, but having Ezra back is fucking great, especially because I remember hearing like the first single Driftwood with him doing the clean vocals. So, and I think he has a really great voice. So, how did he end up like doing like clean vocals on the new album?
Very slowly. He like when he came back. Mike has kind of been handling a lot of the clean vocals, a lot live, and Ezra would like that was just something he had never really done. You know what I mean? So he started like doing a lot of the harmonies for like of Beasts and Worms and uh, Into Embers and some of the stuff off of Damnum. And then it just like I think he just got a little bit more comfortable. And then when we started writing, you know, he's like, okay, I'm gonna try it. And then we just kind of like let him, I think when your instrument is internal, it can be a little bit of more of a very kind of like naked, thing where it's like if it's an outward thing, it's like if you fuck up, it's whatever, you know what I mean? But like an internal process, I think is a little bit more personal. So when he was tracking, when he did Driftwood, we just left the studio and let it come back, and he rose to the occasion. I'm like, I couldn't be more proud of him. Like, you know, I don't think he was fully knew he was capable of it. I'd heard him sing a little bit, um, but this was the first time it was like full blown like mellow death, like chorus type stuff, and yeah, he killed it.
Yeah, yeah, and of course, like you being also a guitar player with like the different vocal styles, do you have to maybe almost like change like the way you play, given like the different vocal styles?
You just have to leave a little bit more room. You have to write with certain vocal styles in mind. And then when Driftwood, that was actually written for Apoptosis by Boo Boo,
Oh,
our bass
really?
player,
Wow. So it's like
and
5 years in the making, or six
yeah,
years.
yeah. So like we were just, I don't think we were quite ready for that song. Um, when we were doing Apoptosis, and then I remembered it was great when we were doing Ossuary, and I was like, hey man, you still got that thing? And yeah, it just turned out like the chorus really lent itself to clean vocals, and they kind of when we did the writing retreat, uh, they just really started to hear that melody and started building it, and yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And kind of want to turn back the clock a little bit because this year does mark 15 years of the first Elysian album, Fragments of Form and Function. So, kind of like going back 15 years ago, what was sort of like the mind frame making the debut full length Elysian album? And how would you say like the band has evolved from the 15 years, going from like Form Shifter to Elements of the Infinite, Apoptosis to now with the Ossury Lens?
I mean, we're older. I'm a I I wasn't a young man when we started, but now I am fully a middle-aged man. But body aches, more
Yeah.
uh, more spray to cover up my bald spots for these interviews.
I mean, you still
uh,
got your hair, man. I still got mine.
it's hanging in there by a wing and a prayer, dude.
Yeah, I'm thinning right there, and only almost 31, and I'm trying to hold on for dear life.
Yeah, I know. Like, dude, getting older sucks. So what a curse.
Yeah, same.
um, it's like when we were back then, it was just like a hunger, a hunger to succeed. And now, um, I don't know. I just wanna live long enough to really just piss off angry metal guy.
Yeah, yeah. And so, kind of also in the end, to sort of wrap things up, what's next for Elysian? Jin, I know we got the new album coming out in April, and I know you got that awesome tour coming up with Warbringer, and I really wish there was East Coast dates. But is there anything else with the release of the Ossury Lens that you would like to also plug it because as well, if you're allowed to say?
I mean, we're just working on some other stuff going on. We have a line on a Euro tour that just happened today. Um, So, I mean, we're excited for stuff, we're in talks with lots of people, and but we have nothing concrete as yet. And even if it's a little bit more concrete, I can't announce it yet. But
Yeah, you'll tell me when I turn off the recorder.
I won't because I don't even know.
I knew it. Had to go there, man.
Yeah.
But thank you, Greg, for this conversation. It's great to be able to chat with you again. It's just any final words you want to say to the viewers that are watching this to close this out?
No, thanks for listening. Pre-order the album if you care enough to
There.
do it.
And I did myself.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Anytime. But everybody, Greg Burgess from Elysian, and we'll see you next time.